guys, good morning. Okay, actually it's probably not morning for most of you, but it is definitely morning for me. It is super duper early. I got the glasses on, my hair is not done. Hope you guys love me anyway. I do have my coffee, so I think I'm gonna be okay. So you guys are getting this week's video one day early on Monday instead of Tuesday because last night was Sunday night and it was the 90th Annual Academy Awards and it was so good. I really thoroughly enjoyed it and I really wanted to put out a video to talk about it and tell you guys what I thought. And of course I want to hear your thoughts about it. If you guys are like me, you have been watching the Oscars since you were little, and you know, to this day, there is still something so magical about it. When you're in the acting business for a long time, there's a lot of stuff that really loses its like excitement. Everything becomes kind of like, okay, yeah, that's the industry I'm in. It's not really that special because that's just like our job. It's the work we do. But there's something about the Oscars that still has kept its mystique and its glam. Anyway, I have a lot to say about it. I want to talk about the fashion. I want to talk about the funny or weird moments. I want to talk about, you know, the nominees and winners, who were the upsets, who were the victories, you know, all that good stuff. So I do have notes. So get ready. You ready, guys? Let's have a chat. Okay, so first and foremost, I mean, we should probably talk about the fashion. Now, fashion, guys, obviously is like not the most important thing in the world. I mean, we have a lot of really big issues going on in the world, and fashion may seem kind of trivial and silly and like extra. But it's still fun to look at. It's still fun to watch everybody coming down the red carpet and see what they've got going on, if they took any fun risks. And there was a lot going on this year. I mean, the dresses were really beautiful. Wow. And the men brought it this year, you guys. Like, there was so much velvet and color and embroidery going on for the men. There was a lot of like daring, non-typical tuxedo, blah. I like it when men step it up and kind of bring their A game with their fashion. It's nice. For the women's gowns, there was a lot of black, a lot of white. The first one I saw was Taraji P. Henson in that gorgeous, like sheer black. It was like glamorous but sexy dress. Camila Alves had on this white gown that actually looked like my dream wedding gown, like so beautiful, but it didn't look like it didn't belong on the red carpet. It was just perfection. Laura Dern's creamy white gown and the earrings she chose and the way her hair was done, like it all just worked so perfectly. The cool thing about fashion this year is that stars have really been taking the opportunity to use their fashion or wear a pin to really speak out for whatever movement they want to speak out on, like Time's Up, Me Too, Never Again, any of those movements that are so important. They're using fashion, like, you know, at this, I can't remember which award show it was. I think maybe it was the Golden Globes, but all the women wore all black gowns for Time's Up. That was really incredible just to see everybody come together and kind of make that statement together. You know, people have their opinions on whether or not actors should be making political statements. My opinion is that if you have something to say and you have the platform to say it on, say it. You know, that person is in a position where they can really help their cause in their mind, and I think they should. Sorry, this is kind of like major sidebar from fashion here, but to me, that's what makes entertainment so special, is that it really brings awareness. They talked about this last night actually in the ceremony, and it really was so on point, how film and TV brings awareness to other people's lives, other people's situations, and it lets you, as the audience member, be able to see life through another person's eyes. You know, Kumail Nanjiani was talking about, as a Muslim child growing up, he watched tons of white dudes on movies and totally related to them, and now he finally gets to be in a movie and have kids relate to him and see things through his eyes. So much of the confliction and fear that's going on in the news and everything is all stemming from fear of the unknown. And I really honestly do believe that the importance of entertainment is that it brings people together and lets people see things through a different lens than their own. And I think just in life, that is so important, to be able to open your eyes to some world other than your own. Anyway, back to fashion. I wrote down some of the men who I thought just looked so good. I mean, these guys' tuxedos were kind of classic, but they just had a little bit of edge to them. Donald Sutherland, Christopher Plummer, James Ivory, Armie Hammer, Oscar Isaac. They all looked so good. Jimmy Kimmel, too. His tux was very classic, but had just like a little something to it. He just looked really sharp. And there were a couple guys who really brought it, like him, Chadwick Boseman, in that long coat with the white embroidery on it. Okay, just a fair warning, I'm probably going to be hardcore promoting Black Panther because I just saw it on Saturday night, and there are so many good things about this film. If you have not seen it, damn it, go see it on the big screen. It is so worth your money. It is such a cinematic experience, and it really has this. The story has everything, and it's just a really important film to see. I don't want to say too much more if you haven't seen it, but you will not be disappointed. And while we're on the subject of Black Panther, can we just take a moment for my all-time favorite dress of the night? Lupita Nyong'o's dress. You guys, she looked like a freaking goddess warrior. It was very in line with her character from Black Panther. And just, I mean, in general, she's always very courageous with her fashion, and it always works. Like, she couldn't do anything. The way she carries herself, she is just so stunning. But the dress, the black and gold, her hairstyle was a traditional Rwandan hairstyle. It just, she killed it. She killed it. There were a lot of really beautiful, simple dresses going on, like Ashley Judd's really bright magenta, clean, simple dress was really beautiful. Chelsea Peretti had that velvet maroon red number, really pretty. A couple people had like these beautiful champagne colored vintage numbers going on, which I'm obsessed with, like vintage style dresses. And Allison Williams, wow, Allison Williams' dress. I have to talk about the emerald green dresses because that is my most favorite color, but Octavia Spencer's dress was so gorgeous. It was that satin emerald green. Also in that gorgeous green was Wendy McClendon-Covey. And not really green, but like more aqua was one of my top 3 dresses. Betty Gabriel. Loved Jennifer Lawrence's dress, as usual. She and Gal Gadot both had these like really bright, kind of old Hollywood looking dresses that love. Paz Vega also wore a really special dress with a lot of flowers on it. It was really colorful. It was awesome. I love when people kind of come out and just rock what they want to rock and don't worry too much about like what the trend is this year, and they just do something courageous, whether it works or not. Like, you do you. Whew, that was a lot more fashion than I planned to talk about. Sorry. So as I was watching, I wrote down a few other things that I just thought were worth talking about. First of all, Jimmy Kimmel as a host, A+. There was a moment with Taraji P. Henson when Ryan Seacrest was interviewing her on the red carpet. And I don't know if you guys know, there's some scandal going on with Ryan Seacrest. Someone has accused him of sexual harassment that got buried. And so now, there's some buzz in the air about what really happened or what didn't. But anyway, I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but there was a moment where Taraji P. Henson was talking about her character, and she was like, I just feel like, I'm paraphrasing, I feel like the universe rewards good people. And then she looked right at Ryan and she was like, you know what I mean? And she smiled, and I don't know if that was a dig or if that was like, I got your back, Ryan. I know you didn't do this. But was that a moment? I felt like it was a moment. Anyway, tell me what you guys thought. On the pre-show for the Oscars on one of the networks, I think it was ABC, they were doing some coverage at the Roosevelt Hotel. And in the Roosevelt Hotel, in one of the ballrooms on the first floor, is where the very first Oscars were held, all the way back in 1929. And I got really excited because that exact ballroom that the very first Oscars were in is where my wedding reception was. And we picked that place for that reason. And it was just really cool to have it kind of like get its little recognition moment at this Oscars. And there were a lot of nods to old Hollywood this year. I kind of felt like the whole entire theme this year was old Hollywood, which I just am a total sucker for. I love it so much. I love all the books on what old Hollywood looked like and what the streets used to look like and all the old cars and all the old glamour. I love it. And they opened the ceremony last night with like the black and white Super 8 kind of looking coverage of all the current stars and everything. It was really cool. And all throughout the night, they really incorporated old Hollywood so much. Like they had, they show the old clips and then they had the actors come out and present, like Rita Moreno. That was just really neat. I feel like they deserve recognition and they deserve to be brought to light in today's ceremony, not just like they're in the past. So I thought that was really cool. And there were so many great clips of old movies. I love montages like that when they show clips of like these major moments in cinema. It just reminds you how big of an impact movies have on your life, because watching that moment takes you right back and you can remember the whole movie just seeing that one little clip, or maybe it takes you back to a time in your life when you saw it. Or the music, the music was a really big deal in this year's ceremony. And am I being too gushy about this? I mean, clearly I really liked last night's show. Sorry guys if this is like, but I liked it. There was a really cool thing they did where they had an audience that was watching a movie across the street, and then they had a bunch of the actors and nominees from the Oscars walk across the street with a bunch of candy and interrupt the movie and like pass out candy to all the movie watchers as a big thank you to all the people who attend the movies, because without them, movies would be nothing, truly. And they taped it all, they taped the people's reactions. It was just really, really cool. I love stuff like that. I love hidden camera anything, to be honest, so. There has been some talk lately about how, movie sales, people that purchase tickets to actually go see movies, have dropped to like record lows. It is so much harder for movies to make a lot of money in theaters these days because of all the other ways people can watch movies. And the movie industry really does suffer for it. The art suffers for it. So I encourage you all to keep going to the movies physically and buying tickets so we can keep the art alive so that it doesn't go away. Another really, really special moment was the tribute to all our men and women in the military. And they did a whole montage of movies that were about, military and military service. And I just thought it was so beautiful and so important that the movie industry took the time during the Oscars when everyone is watching to really acknowledge and thank all of our troops, men and women that have served our country, because guys, they are everything. And of course, I thought the In Memoriam was really, really nice to Eddie Vedder's rendition of the Tom Petty song, and getting a chance to see all the people that we've lost in the industry this past year. I really, really love that moment to kind of like look at their faces and reflect on them and just keep them in our memories. That's nice. Sad, but nice. There were no like crazy moments this year, or like, last year, obviously the crazy moment was the wrong movie being read for Best Picture. Nothing really crazy like that happened this year. I saw online today that Jennifer Lawrence had a wardrobe malfunction. I don't know, I didn't see that. I didn't really notice any craziness going on this year. It just seemed like a really smooth Oscar ceremony, and it was nice. It did go over time, definitely, even though I added the extension on my DVR. I still missed the last two categories. It was very long, but no like big crazy moments to talk about. So let's get on to the good stuff, the nominees and the winners. There are so many categories, and I'm not going to cover them all because this would end up being like a 14,000 hour video, and I would not do that to you guys or to myself. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that I really felt like stood out, or that really like kind of disappointed me, or that I was really excited about. So here we go. Disclaimer, I did not see all of the nominated movies. I did my very best. I saw as many as I could. Some of you may be like, okay, then why are you making this video if you didn't even see everything? I don't know. I'm just doing it, okay? So I don't know how many of you saw Baby Driver. I saw it in a theater, which is like the place to see it because the sound is so important when you see Baby Driver. This movie is all about music and sound mixing in with the moments in the cinematography. Baby Driver did not win for sound mixing, sound editing, or film editing, which I think is a total crying shame, because the people that worked on that film to do the sound and the editing and everything were like creative geniuses, because it is such an awesome cinematic experience when you go see it. Whether you like the acting or whatever, the movie itself was really, really special and different. I loved it. And I really, really felt that it should be the winner of one of those awards. Now, I will say, Dunkirk was the one that won for all of those, and I did not see Dunkirk. And maybe if I saw Dunkirk, I would be like, duh, shut up. Like, obviously, that is the winner. But as of right now, I feel like Baby Driver was totally and completely robbed. For cinematography, Blade Runner 2049 won. I felt like it should have been The Shape of Water. Again, I did not see Blade Runner 2049, so maybe the answer is clear as day and that it was the obvious winner. Maybe it's just because Ryan Gosling's face was up on that screen for 2 hours. I don't know. I want to talk for a second about this category, Best Live Action Short Film. I just think it is so cool that you can make a short film, and people will say out there that short films mean nothing, they're a waste of time, what are you ever going to do with them? You could win an Oscar for them, hello? I just think it's a great way to not have to raise a ton of money and be able to make a short film and say what you really want to say. This also did come up in last night's ceremony, the importance of just making movies. And I've talked to you guys about this before, the importance of just making your own film. You have a cell phone, you can make it on that. If you have a laptop, you have iMovie on it, you can edit it on that. I know the production value is important and all that, but still, it is still important to tell your story in any way that you can. I mean, look at Kumail Nanjiani and Emily V. Gordon. They wrote their own story that they felt was, an important story that they wanted to share that people could relate to. And hello, it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay for an Oscar? That's pretty cool. What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about short films. Anyway. The songs were all really cool. I saw Coco in the theater, so I had like a special place in my heart for Remember Me, so I'm really glad that it won. But as far as the performances went, Stand Up for Something was really my favorite performance. I thought that was a really, really beautiful song, and the way that it was done. The makeup and hair category, you know, I just thought that it was really neat watching the winners stand on stage that were makeup and hair artists. How cool is that, that these people one day were like, oh, I just want to do makeup, or I just want to do hair. And you would never think that you could get an Oscar for that, but you can. I just thought it was really neat to see those 3 people on stage who just like went after their artistic dream, and they get to stand on the Oscar stage for their work. Incredible. And Coco won for Best Animated Feature, which I'm so happy because that movie, it's so good. Okay, so now the biggies. For supporting actress, Allison Janney was the winner, which, hello, she is like the goddess of life, and she is so effortless and cool and talented and amazing. And I'm so happy she won. The character that she created, well, I mean, it was a real character that she was adapting, but her take on it was just flawless, as usual. She was just so lovely. I really, really, really was rooting hard for Laurie Metcalf, because I remember seeing Lady Bird and thinking like, she was in Roseanne, Laurie Metcalf, oh my God. And she was so good in it, so good. I mean, I know she was playing a mom, a nurse, and when you're watching that, maybe it may seem easy to, you know, portray that kind of very natural mom-daughter relationship every day. She's not doing anything like super dramatic or crazy, but that is so challenging to make that relationship seem very real and to make her character seem like such a real person. Hard, hard, hard work, and she just nailed it. So I was kind of rooting for Laurie Metcalf, but Allison Janney did win the BAFTA, the Screen Actors Guild Award, and the Golden Globe. So, supporting actor Sam Rockwell. I saw him in a play probably 11 years ago, and he was so good then, and he is so good now. Oh my God, his performance, to create a character that you hate so much, and then by the end of the film, you adore so much. It is so hard. I mean, yes, it's writing and directing, but he is an actor. There was not a moment when you're watching that movie that his acting takes you out of the movie. Like, all it does is take you deeper into the film, because he had created such a real character. For lead actor and lead actress, again, not really any surprises. Gary Oldman won for Darkest Hour, which Gary Oldman never fails. He's always incredible. And he did win the other big 3 awards. I was rooting for Daniel Kaluuya because his performance in Get Out, you know, he had to do an American accent for the movie, and to be able to bring that kind of emotion in a scene and be so good in your character while taming your accent, that's hard. And he did an incredible job at it. He was so good. Gary Oldman, though. And for lead actress, I was really rooting for Sally Hawkins. I really loved what she did in The Shape of Water. Frances McDormand, though, an incredible performance. She is a force to be reckoned with. And I want to take a second to talk about her speech. You should watch it on YouTube if you didn't see it. It was really powerful. She had all the female nominees in every category stand up in the entire room and said, everybody now look around. We all have stories to tell and projects to be financed. And just really important. I really love that she took her moment to bring attention to it, as she always will. That is always the way Frances McDormand will be. It is so much less about her and her own victory, and, you know, all about bringing attention to the things that need to be talked about. And I just thought that was really beautiful. I loved her speech. Oh, there's a couple other speeches that I really, really loved, and I thought they were really either funny or whatever, and I wanted to talk about it. Sam Rockwell was the first winner of the night, and in his speech, he talked about how his dad came to his school to pull him out for the day, and in the office, his dad was like, we have to go, it's Grandma, and they got in the car, and he's like, what's wrong with Grandma? And his dad said, nothing, we're going to the movies. And it was just his parents' love for the movies that made him love movies so much and become an actor, and I just thought that was really cool. You know, movies are such a special thing and such a great way for people to bond. And I don't know, I just really liked that little moment that he shared. And Allison Janney getting her Oscar and then getting up to the podium and going, I did it all by myself. And then, of course, she clarified and was like, no, that is not true at all. But funny moment. Oh, and those were the only 2 I wrote down other than Frances McDormand's speech, which was so rad. And then the last award of the night, Best Picture, which I jumped up out of my seat and cheered because it was a surprise. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri was kind of the expected winner. It did win 2 previous awards for Best Picture, but The Shape of Water won. I'm so thrilled. It also won for Best Director, Guillermo del Toro, and he deserved it because you know what? That movie is like nothing you have ever seen before. It was so original and so special, and I love movies like that, kind of like Drive, where there's not a lot of talking going on, but it's not necessary because everything else that's happening in the film is so good. The production design, the sound, the story itself that doesn't even need that much talking. You know, Sally Hawkins playing a mute character. Just like Baby Driver that I talked about earlier, The Shape of Water was a cinematic experience. It is something special for your eyes and ears and your heart. It is just, it all comes together in this incredible experience. There's no other way to say it. It is an experience. And that, even though 3 Billboards was so incredible, the writing, the acting, everything on point, to me, best picture, best movie, hands down The Shape of Water, and it won, and I'm so happy. I was actually rewatching The Shape of Water the other night and noticing how there's a lot of green in the film. Guillermo del Toro used so much green in a lot of his wardrobe and in the set, and I love that. I love when a director uses a theme, especially one that is like visually stimulating, to really carry the whole film and like pull it all together. One of my favorite films of all time is the Alfonso Cuarón directed version of Great Expectations, and that is the one with Gwyneth Paltrow and Ethan Hawke, if you remember it from the 90s. But also in that movie, everything is green. The wardrobe is green, the set is green. It's such a beautiful thing to watch, even though you might not even realize it when you're watching it. Like, it just really pulls the film all together and gives you a very specific feeling when you're watching it. So anyway, that's just something that I noticed and appreciated about The Shape of Water, and I'm just so happy it won. All right, you guys, that's it. We did it. We talked about the Oscars. I really, really want to hear what you guys thought. Put it down in the comments section. Tell me what you thought of the nominees, who you really wanted to win. Were there any moments that I missed that were really funny or whatever that I should see? And what about you? Do you have like a fantasy that you're going to get an Oscar someday? Everybody does. I want to hear your story. Tell me what you guys think about the Oscars in general. I want to hear it all. That's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe and like this video if you liked it. And next week we will be back to talking about commercials, which is where we left off last week. So I will see you guys then. Bye.